Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome back to Shadow Nexus 13. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified anytime that I drop new content. This message is for Libra for the month of December 2025. And this will be your Alchemy Elementals Shaman messages, and correlating with the energetic message and frequency from the 13th constellation of Ophiuchus. And to correlate those messages, I will be using the Oracle of the Hekatean Path to relay that message through me to you. Through you. And at the same time, Libra, we are going to do your synchronicity codes that I have for you from the screenshots that I kept for the times that I seen, and you had 1244 and 144. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. The first card that you had out from the Alchemy Elementals was Land, Cave, Earth. Okay. While you hold great riches within the depths of your being, these gifts will wither and decay if you continue to hide them and keep yourself in isolation. You must connect with others, dear one. You must stand in the power of your vulnerability and trust that the treasures you have to share will be well received. Because they will. The more willing you are to share your gifts, the faster and greater those gifts will grow and multiply, increasing their vitality and breathing new life into you and into everyone you touch. Be courageous now, knowing that others' appreciation for the beauty you have to share will gift you a greater appreciation for all that you were once inspired to keep hidden. Your bravery will allow others to have the chance to reflect the inner beauty that you carry and will lift you to greater levels of self-acceptance. And your second card out, Libra, is Water, Lake, Earth. Human connection is healthy and inspiring and wonderful when it's coming from a healthy place, but a lot of the time humans reach out to connect with one another not because they have anything to give or are even in a place to connect in an authentic way, but because they just don't want to be alone. That's not healthy connection. That's codependent bullshit. It's fine if you want to reach out to a friend for a conversation or a picnic, but make sure you're not reaching out to avoid being with yourself. Genuine connection arises out of stillness. So, anchor yourself in your own stillness and your own connection with nature before picking up the phone and inviting that friend to meet up for tea. Only when you've grounded yourself in your own foundation will you truly be available for an authentic connection. That's deep. But it's true. I mean, that comes with self-love and self-care and self-forgiveness and all that. Once we are whole with ourselves and we have self-love, and we've walked the path alone without being codependent on somebody else, we can truly have a full cup in order to not drain ourselves because we aren't ready, right? And I've learned that from my own personal experience, Libra. So, and I'm a Scorpio, so I do the deep dive when it comes to these types of things, right? Anything pertaining to spiritual transformation, death and rebirth, and my journey has been a profound one, and I'll share more about that later because it's not about me right now, it's about you, Libra. So, alright, your third card out is the Fire Candle Sun. Right? Fire Candle Sun. Bear with me here. I'm reading from the book because this is a new deck. And it says, your authentic individual expression represents the spark of life within you. This life-giving energy inside of you isn't meant to just illuminate your own life, but the lives of many. The world needs you to be as much as you can be. Believe in who you are, in your uniqueness and your goodness, and in all the wonderful ways you express without needing validation from anyone but yourself. When we fill our own cups by acknowledging how wonderful we are, our light shines brighter and greater and farther and wider, beyond this one little third dimension. At the same time, allow yourself to be honored and appreciated by others for all that you are. You deserve it. Beautiful. Your fourth card is the Land Tree Sun here. All right. Excuse me. You have exhausted yourself again, my love. Your body and your spirit are asking for replenishment. A nap isn't going to cut it this time. The trees are calling you to them, inviting you to lean your weary back against their sturdy trunks and to allow their wisdom and their healing energy into your being. The busyness of the world has distorted your perspective. You are being called to the trees so that you can peer through their branches and their fluttering leaves to gaze upon the golden sunlight shining through. Allow yourself to rest among the trees, allowing the sunlight to warm your face and to remind you of your own divinity. The simplicity of this meeting will revive your spirit and inspire your own branches to reach for the sun once again. And then your fifth card out is Land Tree Earth. Every seed we plant becomes a part of us, just as we become a part of it. To understand the growth process and the care, the nurturing and the attention it requires, there is nothing quite as effective as the process of planting a seed and caring for it as it grows. When we plant seeds, we step into the role of nurturer. As nurturers, we must cultivate the patience to water the seed and to care for the seed. We must make sure that it receives the right amount of sunlight as it grows so that it can be strong and sturdy and well nourished. Caring for the seeds we plant teaches us how to care for ourselves and how to care for our planet, because it attunes us to the daily care and the subtle shifts necessary for each plant to thrive. Plant a seed and nurture it like it's your most exquisite version of yourself, because it is, my love. It is. Excuse me. Alright. Now, we are going to move on to the energetic messages from the 13th constellation of Ophiuchus. which is the Serpent Bearer constellation, right? And the first card that came out here, Libra, is Divinity, right? The holy daemon upper realm. The infinite serpent of the Empyrean realms, this elusive emissary comes only in times of great need. This spirit works most effectively through your third eye and crown centers, whispering inspirational and divine truths. When this daemon is present, look for signs and omens around you, and above all else, listen. You are closer to godness, or you're closer to the goddess than you realize within yourself. All right, and then you have cycles, right? The Wheel of Hecate evokes motion and serpentine energy. Our paths are not linear, they are repetitive, and we sometimes lose our direction, causing us to retrace already familiar ground. The serpentine energy of the wheel can usher in transformation, allowing you to shed the old like a snake sheds its skin. What habits do you need to break? What messages do you need to take heed of? And what lessons do you need to learn? All right, Libra. So next we're going to go ahead and get into the synchronicity screenshots that I had for you. And like I said towards the beginning, you had 12, 44, and 144. So Libra, you're entering what is a major karmic correction window here, right? And this is all about the old emotional patterns that are breaking apart. And so this is where identity resets through the truth, and expansion replaces the delay, right? With the number 3. And the 44 is the stabilizer of this new timeline, right? So we're talking about rebalancing and rebuilding and reclaiming destiny. Whereas with your secondary code, with the 144, right? When we interpret the 144 as a whole number, you know, this is the angelic code, right? And 144 is associated with ascension templates, DNA sequences, and soul mission activation. So higher order harmony with that divine orchestration on the structural level of foundations, right? And protection from the higher realms. So if we break down the internal structure, right, then we're talking about that number 1, which holds the energy of the sun, which is, can't make this stuff up because you got the 2 different sun cards here, right? Basically coming in and confirming that and saying, hey, yeah, you know, it's what it is. And so this is about the identity, the ego, the truth. So where you're holding your overall divine spark, right? And with the master number 44, again, we're talking about that foundation mastery. So you're going through a destiny recalibration. And what this means is your identity is undergoing that structural reconstruction, that destiny recalibration, right? With 144. So when if we were to take and reduce that 144, right, then we would get a 9. And it's interesting because in Chaldean, 9 isn't really sacred, highly spiritual threshold number. And it's also, Mars energy. But we're not talking about the reduction of 44, because 44 is the master number. So we're talking about this would be the breaking down of the overall vibrational sum of 144, right? You following? So when we take 9 with Mars, we get that sacred completion where you're in this initiation gate. And again, with Hecate's wheel coming out here with cycles, right? And to correlate that message of the energy being channeled here from Ophiuchus, right? So we have that karmic ending and where you're at the spiritual threshold, completion of a cycle, and this is a rite of passage. So the presence of the 9 through 144 means that you're completing this really long karmic arc, and this may has possibly spanned for years or even lifetimes. So a lot of Libras watching this are really old souls. This isn't your first time here. So 144 is you stepping into an ascension gateway where your identity's being rewired, your purpose unlocks, your old karmic structures dissolve, and a divinely protected timeline starts to begin to form, right? And the soul moves into a higher octave of truth. And this number marks a soul contract pivot point, right? So with 12, you have this cycle release, and then we bring in that 3 with Jupiter and expansion and blessings from doing the work, from doing the release, from doing the shadow work, right? And, out with the old and with the new. And 44 is that master foundation building. And then we take that 144, and here you are ascending the identity activation and coming through with this 9 completion, which is your overall initiation, right? And that's what the constellation of Ophiuchus, excuse me, is all about. It's about that initiation. It's about stepping into that sacred 9 energy, right? And being a healer or being a guide for others, in service to others. So, you're undergoing this timeline correction that dissolves old karmic entanglements. And that stabilizes new foundations and activates a higher identity template under Jupiter's blessing. And then we got that Saturn and Venus structural mastery going on, right? So there's that. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Libra. And again, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit that like button, and please don't forget to drop a comment. Let me know how this is hitting for you. Always remember, if it's not resonating, just don't force things to fit. And until our paths cross again, in the name of the crossroads, Hail Hekate.